everyone, welcome back to another episode of Inspirations with Roshonda, which is a little bit of this, a little bit of that, all things inspiration for your mind, body, and soul. So the last couple of weeks, I feel like God has been really pushing me to talk about seasons. And I know in a video that I talked about before, I talked about how everyone is in a different season. But last week, I talked about the season of memory work and how God brings things back to your memory. This is something that we have been talking about in my own church. And so maybe this is something that God is doing with you, where you're talking about He's bringing up things from the past that you need to ask Him for forgiveness for. Another season that we could be going through is, are you lonely this season? Who are you loaning for this season? You know, because there are seasons where we don't need to let certain people into our season or into our world. There are people that shouldn't even know your name. There are people that shouldn't even know your zip code. There are people that shouldn't even know where you live. As a matter of fact, there are people that shouldn't even know you, period. But because we get lonely, and we open our doors to unnecessary things and unnecessary people, these people have access to us and access to things that God may have not even wanted them to have access to. You see on the news all the time about, you know, guys killing young ladies, you know, or young ladies killing men, you know, young men and all this other type of stuff. And that's because when I see things like that, I think they opened their door to the wrong person. That person didn't mean them any good. But if we press into God and we start to pray and ask God about who is this person, you know, someone else mentioned that on YouTube. Who is this person? Lord, what is this person's place in my life? Why are they here? What's their dealings? You know, I remember when I was 19 years old, and I remember I always had this sense of, I want to be in a relationship. I want to be in a relationship. I desired it so much until every man that came into my life, I was opening the door to them. I thought it was a potential husband. It was a potential this. It was a potential that. But God spoke to me during that time, and He said, every man that comes across your path is not meant for you to date. Every man that comes across your path is not meant for you to date, sis. You know, I was opening my door to everything, you know, to every guy, thinking, oh, well, maybe he's sent by God. Well, maybe he's sent by God. Well, maybe he's sent by God. And it's, you know, when people come into our lives, they're there for different reasons. So that's the reason why you have to ask God, why is this person in my life? It could be that you have something inside of you that they need. They have something that that's inside of them that you need. Maybe it's something that you've been praying to God about, and you know, He's sending the answer, but it's coming through them, you know, or vice versa. So that's the reason why we have to put these things before God. So I said, and I'm gonna say this really quickly because I have to go, but who are you loaning for this season? Last year, I was loaning for my father, my dad, my biological dad. And I have always had this longing for him, but it was just something about last year. You know, I was just like, oh my gosh, God had told me to close the door to some other things. And here comes the enemy opening the door to other stuff. And I just was longing for my dad, just longing for him. And finally, I put it before God, and I'm like, God, where's these feelings coming from? Why do I feel this way? You know, whatever, because I felt this way before, but it was just something about like last year. Maybe that was just a press. And so long story short, I ended up reaching out, going through all these channels to find my dad. And I found him. After 28 years, I found my dad. But guess what? And it's sad to say, I should not have opened that door, because he wasn't the man that I thought he was. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was nice and all this stuff, but he just had a lot of issues. You know, he had gotten to the point where he would drunk text me, you know, just talking. When we were on the phone, he would be talking all off the wall, slurring at his words because he was drunk all the time. And I think it was just a little girl in me that just wanted this thing of saying, hey, I'm a daddy's girl. I'm a daddy's girl. But do you know that sometimes we can settle even when it comes to our family? They were just the conduits. Your mom and your dad were just the conduits that God used to get you here. But there's nothing in the Bible. The Bible tells us to respect them and honor them, which means to respect them. But it doesn't say anything about us having to have a relationship with them, especially if they're toxic. And I realized at that time that my dad was toxic. He was nothing like the little 5-year-old girl in me thought that he was or wanted him to be. And I ended up getting disappointed. Again, I realized that there was not a door that God wanted me to open, because look at what happened. It hurt me. It bruised me. It bruised me to open that door. And God knew that. But, you know, a lot of times we put things before God, but we do not wait on him to give us an answer. We just mosey on. Well, it feels good, and we just go on. Sit on that thing for a while. Sit on it for a day. Sit on it for 2 days. Sit on it for 3 days until God gives you an answer. God may not give you an answer for another 2 or 3 months, and that's okay. Does that mean you need to go and open that door? No, because who knows us better than God? A lot of times we think we can handle things, but you can't. Only God knows what you can handle. God knew that I wouldn't be able to handle that with him. So this year, I just put him in his place respectfully. You know, he went to drunk text me, slurring at his words and da-da-da-da. And I just told him, listen, I appreciate you, but when you're drunk, please don't text me. Don't call me. When you're drunk, don't do that. You know. And so he was like, oh, I'm sorry. You know, I respect you. But do you know he hasn't called? You know, I get these little dry texts. Hey, it's your dad. I love you. You know, and that's it, because he can't stay sober. And this is a person that I loan to be back into my life. So who are you loaning for this season? Put that person or that thing or whatever before the Lord and ask God, Lord, do I need this person in my life? Because I'm sure he'll tell you, because he knows you better than you know yourself, that no, you don't need to open that door. And you might be hurt by that, but trust me, you'll be hurt by not opening the door, but you'll be even more hurt if you did open it. So, who are you loaning for this season? Go to God. Take it to him. Ask him about that situation and let the Lord do everything else. You don't want to open your door to a wolf. You don't want to open your door to the wrong person, because we can't do that. So I pray that you got something out of this message. Listen, if you did, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know, and I will talk to you later. Have a great day.